Hello and welcome. Welcome to this new podcast, You Can't Handle the Truth. Let's see how many can handle my truth. I know it's hard sometimes to define what is the truth. And I came to the conclusion that there is only one, and it's ours. It's an individual truth. This podcast aims to let you know a little bit about my truth, finding it, and how I made peace with it. Let's shoot the intro, and I will meet you right back, and we will dive into my truth. We are in, and as we all like to know, I normally say that I have killed off the fears from my past, the assumptions of my future, the expectations from others, the excuses in my head, and the energies I no longer need in order for me to be in the present moment, which is the state of creation, visualization, and manifestation. At least that's what I like to think. I do continue to erase my negative thoughts and implement the better ones. I use distraction in a positive way for self-development. Like I like to distract myself with hobbies that keep me focused on the present moment. I distract myself with a book or a documentary that will keep me focused on my passions and to discover a little bit more about myself. I read and read again a document called the Affidavit. And I read that every time I experience doubt. I read my leans. And I just read them for the fact that they show me how far I have come in my power. I distract myself with music and tones that will keep my vibration high. And I hope that this podcast will do just that for you as well. You can distract yourself by listening to my voice, and I hope that in a way it will make you feel good and will make you understand the source of your power, and that you don't need to look outside of yourself because you have the power. The power has been always yours. But sometimes we like to seek outside of ourselves. They say, seek and you shall find. Well, funny enough, I'm still seeking. And I think most of us will stay seeking the same. There is a statement, What Do I Know? Which was a series that I did with some guests I had. And that statement implies somehow that it could be a statement based on a guess or assumption rather than on knowledge or evidence. It is only fair for us to come to the conclusion that the more we know, the more we don't know. I've been thinking, and I really cannot understand why law, that amazing word with just 3 letters, is never a required area of study. Well, at least from a young age, because it affects our lives literally every day. Yet people, myself included, have embarrassingly low levels of legal knowledge. And when I say legal, I'm doing that thing with the fingers. The only reason for this that comes to my mind is that people who actually know what their rights, again, with my fingers, are more of a hassle for the so-called law enforcement. But if it has been decided that those are our rights, then why is that not a priority in education? I wonder why. You might be asking, why is she doing this with her fingers and stating that in a podcast? Well, because I want you to have the notion that there are certain words that I will be using, and I need you to make the same assumption that I want to pass out, which is what is law and like enforcement, you know. But I think it will make more sense further ahead, so just bear with me. All thoughts have a beginning, and mine are no different. I often get involved inside my own head, and I stay there for a good few days. I will only leave that space when I fully comprehend why I went there in the first place. It may seem to us that all we need is meditation and life will just fall into place. Well, not for me. I clearly need chaos so I can start creating new pathways that will lead to something or somewhere. So until I heal the painful body / avatar, I will not be able to view reality objectively, but through the lens of ego filters that operate using defense mechanisms in attempt to avoid self-confrontation. This can hide under the guise of many justifications, including the righteous anger or a perceived sense of obligation to fix the outside world through overconsumption of knowledge and preoccupation with the outside battle. There is, however, a place for all of this, but without internal checks and balances in place, our good intentions can easily be subverted through our own unresolved trauma, which can be exploited by parasitic forces who know how to prey upon our blind spots and to trigger desirable reactions that continue to generate more chaos and conflict in the collective field. This redirects energy to the phantom words that run the anti-creative infrastructure. There is no discrimination when it comes to their fuel source. All projected emotional energy can be harvested, which in turn diminishes our own creative energy by draining our life force. This emotional energy can be transmuted from within the body by bringing the higher mind online in order to observe this energy in motion without identification. Whatever we identify with, we become. And this derails us onto disempowering timelines that reflect that level of vibrational embodiment. There is wisdom contained within every emotion that will reveal itself if we surrender to it. This will show us which aspects of the shadow to attend to, which ultimately serves our highest evolutionary growth by untethering karmic entanglements that are keeping our souls in a state of bondage. For me, the karmic scales are somewhat rebalancing, and we have entered a window of opportunity to confront our own demons so we can cast them into the abyss by shining our light of consciousness onto them. So, in a sense, they no longer hold any power. Whatever we refuse to confront will continue to exert its influence from the shadows. And this shadow realm is ripe for hyperdimensional infiltration. The nervous system is the barometer for the level of self-mastery that we have ascertained. It kind of regulates electrical energy, and any imbalance can be felt through the suppression of our activation of the nervous system. This regulation begins with the breath, as nature intended, correcting any reversals that have resulted in a rapid, shallow breathing, which limits oxygen intake and initiates a fight, flight, or a freeze response. This disables our capacity to take charge of our reality through directing the personal will. It occurs as a trauma response when we are being governed from the unconscious, which opens our mind up to hacking. Reality engineers know how to program the subconscious by feeding it suggestions such as subliminal imprints that work as a form of predictive programming so that we fulfill external agendas. Stuck in a trauma bond with our oppressors. Any weakness we have will be exploited. And this works beyond just the 3D control structure. At least that's what I've been analyzing and observing. When we cannot differentiate the lower ego mind from the authentic higher mind, which is our spiritual essence, we attach to personas and confuse them as our true identity, relegating our authentic self into the recesses of the unconsciousness. Over successive eons, this has led to progressive DNA degradation, resulting in the limited two-strand expression that keeps us operating in the perceptual bandwidth of visible light, unaware of our multidimensional nature. It was done on purpose. That's my assumption. Our higher identities are still stationed in other planes of reality, but are inaccessible whilst we live under the governance of the base 3 chakras due to insufficient shadow clearing. When we clear passage for energy to graduate up through to the heart, we allow for greater soul embodiment. With this, we are able to ground higher frequencies into the body and upgrade the nervous systems and the light body so that we lift the physical density and transition from the carbon crystalline life forms who can direct quantum potential into desired particle-based manifestations. We break down the molecular structure of reality so that it becomes malleable and receptive to our consciousness. The power of individuals embodying their higher soul potential far supersedes unconscious, autonomous doing the bidding for their handlers in a predeterministic fashion. That reality expression carries very little potency because it lacks divine creativity, and its power can only be sustained through ignorance via deception and reality inversion, which is just mimicry of the immense power and benevolence of organic architecture. Our divinity is accessible to us when we take the leap of faith to surrender to the unknown. When we open ourselves to trust who we are and to trust at first on the divine guidance and to make our decisions based on an inner state instead of outside state. But however time has we witness its magic in our lives through God-ordained synchronicity, we learn to develop a deeper trust in ourselves as the true authority. It takes time, yes, it does, but we will get there. As we reintegrate the soul to merge with the body, we become instruments for divine will without the need to control outcomes or fight our way to freedom. For as long as we are in a state of resistance, we forfeit our energy and remain caught in the matrix web of soul recycling. Soul individuation grants us access to deeper heart intelligence, free from the negative judgments of the predator ego that operates under a digressive service to self, polarization, which can masquerade with positive virtues, including the hero/savior complexes as a product of overinflated self-importance. We can check in with ourselves by being honest about our intentions and whether they are truly coming from an empathic place or from a reactionary state that seeks retribution for perceived wrongdoing. There is no shame in self honesty, and this self awareness is the prerequisite for shedding those layers of ego to invite deeper authenticity. When we know and trust ourselves, we do not seek to control others. Free will, and we will respect that there is a process to evolution, which we can help to facilitate but not intervene with. We act as living embodiment of the example we wish to set, and those that are ready come forth to receive the assistance and mentorship of their own accord. This enables sustainable self-transformation of individuals who can then, from coercive co-creative collectives, through soul resonance. Remember, I do me, and should you permit yourself to be the amazing being that you are, you should do you as well. So let's see, what do I really know about that amazing word law? Again, my both hands are up and my two fingers are bang bang. Well, for that, I have to take you to meet one of the most amazing beings I have ever met. He's the one who told me that we don't know nothing about nothing because we never ask the right questions and we keep our beliefs and faith in all that surrounds us, and we live in a fictional world of make believe, like he would say in La La Land. You will find many of his videos. There is a section in my YouTube channel just dedicated to Baron David Ward, and you will find him talking about his own journey, and it's quite fascinating to listen to him because of the amount of knowledge that he shared with us. And I want to continue to bring to this podcast some of his words and the messages that he left for us. So I would say, in his own words, when asked what is law, he would say, so here are the facts. 1, every government on this planet are outright criminals. 2, everything you know is totally wrong. Everything, common law, Magna Carta, it's all irrelevant. We now have a perfected means which is totally unchallenged to backcharge the criminals for millions. This is the open door to world utopia. So why would anyone not be reading these files? Yes, the affidavit is foundation. How to use that in the real world is published in the very real commercial liens. So take everything you know and bin it. And just like that, I knew I was going for a rough, meaningful ride in my feelings and beliefs. I was going to be ripped apart and challenged. So, just like that, bye bye, ego. He would say to me, there is only one way. Facts are the only way. Facts can never fail. Too many will find that Baron David Ward was unhelpful. And please do realize that he has written the cookery book or the car maintenance manual that you can now use. So people who think that he didn't help enough because they wanted him to do the work for them, definitely that was something that even if he wanted to do, he couldn't. All you need to do, or anyone listening and coming to this for the first time, or the many that are sitting in the trenches in the groups, all you really need to do is follow the instructions as written. It is time for us to take responsibility for our ignorance and learn from what is supplied. Sure, it is a struggle at first, just like cooking, cutting hair, fixing cars, or playing the guitar. But if you persevere, you will gradually build understanding, like anything else in life. For me, I am very grateful that much of the information is available. Rather than complaining, it isn't in video format or I cannot do this or oh I have difficulties with this or that, you know, like many people do in the groups. Um, I can only provide my um, my own experience because when back in the day there's not even half of what you have now. So I was reading all his comments and I was devouring his wisdom. I was attentive to his mannerisms. And I do liked the way he was ruthless and the grim reaper of the dark side. I liked the way he would play with our heads. All of that just to make us truly see how dumbed down we were. He had that way of take no shit from the brainwashed, the fluoride guzzling zombies, and he would put them out for sure. I find it hilarious to see him do it. I love the quirkisms. It made me laugh so very much. I think he was very patient in a way, considering some of the questions. Most people don't even bother to read the document and just ask them questions all day long, which will display willful ignorance in my eyes. They want a quick fix and all laying out on a plate for them. Well, that's exactly what he's done. He saved us all the hard work and he has put it all on a plate for us for free. It's just that some are too lazy to realize this and shouldn't be in the groups anyway. But that's just my opinion. You have you have to wave goodbye to a lot of people on this journey to find the truth, even close friends and family, because they think you are mental. For me, it was all wise words. I have much respect for him, and I will always have. And he was always there for me when I needed, when I needed to take my doubts, and he just showed me that I needed a big bin at the time. It took many hours out of his time to explain many things to me. And yes, I found it hard at first, but I didn't throw my toys out of the pram. I went away and kept reading and reading. Like he would say, we cannot fit 10 gallons in a neck cup. Well, I can't imitate his accent. I wish I could, but yeah. Well, let me show you some of the things, some of the first things that I've learned from him. Well, this one is the best one. There is no such thing as law. No law. Law is a belief. Who can create law and impose that law upon another by an act of force? That would be an act of terrorism. There is a formal requirement that we have all formally agreed as to what the law is before there can be law, and we have all signed this agreement. There is no law. Law is a belief. I just gutted every lawyer on the planet like a wet fish. Their PhD in law isn't worth bum paper. Once you know you have been lied to, then the opposite of the lie is truth. So, what is law? Law equals bullshit. What is the second law of thermodynamics? Yes, you guessed it. It equals bullshit. And what about the E equals mc squared? Yeah, bullshit. So no argument here. Problem, reaction, solution. It's time we decide the solution. And for that, we have, I do not give you laws or administer justice. If you got that, yeah, that is on YouTube still. That lady, Ellie, saying that. So if she said that, there is no law in the judiciary, there is no justice in the judiciary, and this was confirmed by the Queenie herself in 1957. And what did she say, Mo? Well, let's see. You can go and have a look on YouTube and hear it from her own mouth. Baron David Ward used to say, there is no law or justice in HM courts and tribunals. Just scum criminals talking doublespeak. Words from the lips of the Queen herself. Now, you have to consider the words in the correct context. I am a man. I married a woman. I know what a man and a woman is. So why do humans have human rights? I don't know what a human is. I am a man. Men and a human are not the same. Apples and oranges. You cannot make apple pie out of oranges. What is slavery? Well, let's look at our origins. You are born onto a planet. Yes, born onto a planet. Think about that for a moment. The planet may be round, flat, a spiky triangle. You do not know. You have not seen it with your own eyes. So this is still remarkable in and of itself. Re- Regardless of its shape, and of course, it is much more important what we do on the planet than the shape of it. The planet has hair, land, water, food, energy, and all natural resources provided for you. They are God slash creator given rights. Thousands of years before you, however, a small group of people decided that they would take these God slash created given rights for themselves and enslave you via the use of esoteric knowledge, the true knowledge and nature of this place, and enslave humans for their hands. They worked with the archons, the negative lizards, so they say, and negative AI to form the satanic bloodlines. Satanism is a derivative of worshipping Baal, Moloch, and lizard entities. The 12 tribes of Israel inverted in a dark 180-degree flip to create the 12 bloodlines of Satan. The Illuminati families, the 13 being the Merovingian, the bloodline of both Christ and Lucifer, the light bearer himself. This is our history, the existence of these families. And this, my friends, is a fact. Who owns the wealth of this land? Who indeed owns the land? The dark lineages it was conferred upon. No, we do. And that's another fact. Time to take it back. This knowledge has been kept secret by the elites from their enslaved chattel for generations to benefit only them, passed down their family lineage for thousands of years to this present day. The archons realized down the line that the slaves were more productive if they were given certain freedoms, or at least the illusion of freedom. This is what you see today, the move from overt slavery systems of the ancient past to convert slavery upon the people of this planet, oblivious to the fact that they live in a debt slavery system. All your creator's given rights are handed over to the state, the archons, via your own free will, however manipulated, to one end, to make you a slave to their systems, to be conferred mere benefits and privileges in return. I would say a prison planet. The wool has been pulled over humanity's eyes for generations. So much so that you have forgotten who you are and why you are here. This is by purposeful design. What we are witnessing now is the grand last push of these master races for total enslavement of the consciousness of the people. If you think that they do not feed upon the consciousness of a sick, suffering populace, kept eternally warring not only with others but our inner selves, well, think again. This is the war on consciousness, and consciousness is vibration and frequency. The very things that we have forgotten we are. This psyop has now reached epic proportions, purposefully so. This criminal mafia, these racketeering fraudsters, these interrelated bloodlines are coming in for the kill, or cull more appropriately. To see through their system is the first port of call to end it. A system your parents sign you over from birth. The birth certificate is bond pair of rents. Parents, pair of people who rent you back from the state. Etymology is the key to the deception, people, the cipher. I would tell you to go and watch the Golden Web on YouTube to fully comprehend this spelling we are in. You are then falsely educated your entire lives, sent into bondage to pay off your shelter, mortgage, more equals debt, equals gorge, equal contract, or that pledge, to keep you on the ever-spinning perpetual hamster wheel. Tax is a black hole, giving you the illusion you get services. These services have been paid for many times over on commodities that are free and plentiful for all on goods on God's green earth. We are still burning fossil fuel for energy. True energy technologies is hidden and taken from you. Democracy is an illusion. Demo equals demon equals crusty party. The devil is proudly displayed by them in detail, the truth hidden in plain sight. The illusion you choose leaders from a corporate body within its walls, the duality and two pillars of Bose and Jacin, representing the veil between the conscious and the subconscious mind, the illusion of a purposefully cast duality intended to awaken you to your true nature, yet more smoke and mirrors to keep you deluded and dormant. Dark lies and deception. What's next? They need a cull. The slaves need to be more manageable. Boris Johnson is a Zionist Jew. His family are Johnson isn't his real name, which is a fact. Angela Merkel and Theresa May are related. Fact. American presidents are all related, with the odd exception. Fact. The list of convicted sex offenders, rapists, and pedophiles, and those not yet convinced but active within governments, councils, social services, the police, etc., is more than rife. It is systematic. That's what they feed on, literally. Policemen and women in service to protect the people, now police officers. of the corporation that is the UK government PLC in service to protect corporate entities and interests. You have a God/creator given right to take this all back. By playing their final hand, they have exposed the game. The truth is now that the truth will undoubtedly set us all free. This place is the start, but being bold and telling others is paramount. The facts within the affidavit are the facts of the case. If not now, when? Baron David Ward. Well, you should be at this point saying, why would this matter? Well, it matters because now we fully know what's going on here and how and why it is happening and why did it happen. We need to be able to recognize the patterns, and we definitely need to grow up and take action. That was all that Baron David would ask of you or me or anyone else that came to read the affidavit. There's no point in knowing if not to use it effectively. If we study and we can make an effort to go after knowledge, then we can start by applying that knowledge. The way is not always clear, and that's okay. There's not a single one way to follow. Well, there's no one to follow, to be honest. It is a unique path, a path that you will build. Yes, you can go and read other people's work or listen to a podcast, but it will all come down to you. What use will you give to the energy that you spend doing that research or whatever the source of your choosing? Let's not forget that the sum of our experiences will determine the knowledge accumulated and the action taken towards that finish line, your finish line. Baron David Ward would say, I don't go to court. By entering the court, you have agreed to be judged. The court has no jurisdiction. I don't care about the court the same as I would not care if it was McDonald's court. There is no difference. And I will leave you at that to think, to ponder on all of this. And I hope you will enjoy listening to this amazing podcasts that I will bring to you, and reading much of what is available in Baron David Ward's page, and I will try to present it in a very unique way, my way, the only way. And yeah, see you next time. Have a blast.